The sky over Earth Base 17 was dark and quiet. Cold stars blinked in the night, each one holding a story. Captain Leon Reyes sat alone on the edge of the observation deck, her boots resting on the steel rail, a warm mug in her hands. She wasn't thinking about the stars. She was thinking about someone far away. Commander
Anavari.
They had served together for 3 years, fighting side by side in deep space, protecting colony worlds and laughing in the mess hall after long missions. Leanne had always felt safe. Around him, not just physically, but safe to be herself. Ren was quiet, strong, and full of thoughts he rarely shared. But when he did, Leanne listened. Then 1 cycle ago, he was transferred to the Titan front, a place light years away. He didn't argue, he didn't say much. He just looked at her and said, "I'll send a message when I can." But no message ever came. Leanne sipped her drink slowly. Every night she came up here, hoping for a signal. A call, a single line of text, something. But all she saw was that same silent sky. She knew Ren was probably fine. He was smart, careful, and skilled. But what hurt more was the distance. The kind you couldn't measure with numbers. The kind you felt in your chest. Still waiting for a ghost signal? A voice asked from behind. It was Sergeant Kit, one of her close team members. He walked up with a small smile and sat beside her. Leanne sighed. Not a ghost. Just someone I care about. Kit didn't tease her, he knew. Everyone on the team did. Could try sending something yourself? He said gently. I don't know what to say anymore, she replied. It's been so long. What if he doesn't remember? What if he moved on? Kit looked out at the stars. You know what I think? Humans are stubborn. We never give up on the people we care about. It's in our nature. Even if we don't know how, we try. Leanne nodded slowly, but she didn't move. Later that night, Leanne went back to her quarters. She stared at the message screen. Her fingers hovered over the keys, unsure what could. She'll say, "Hey, I miss you." Too simple. Why didn't you write? Too harsh? Are you okay? Too late. She closed the screen and laid on her bunk, eyes open, thoughts spinning. Then a memory came back clear and warm. It was the night before Ren left. They were in the armory, checking equipment. She had dropped a wrench, and Ren bent down to hand it back. Their hands touched, just for a second. He didn't pull away. "Promise me something," she had said quietly. "Anything. Don't forget what normal feels like. Not out there."
Out.
"I won't. Not as long as I remember you." The next morning, Leanne stood in front of the communication console again. Her hands shook just a little, but her heart felt steadier. She didn't need the perfect words. She just needed real ones. She typed slowly. "Hey, Ren. I hope you're still out there. Guess I just wanted to say I still think about that promise. Things here feel strange without you. If you're okay, I'll be right back. No pressure. Just miss you, I guess." Leanne, she stared at the message. Then she pressed send. And that was all. 2 days passed. Then 3, no reply. But something inside her felt lighter. Not because she got an answer, but because she finally reached out. Humans, she realized, didn't need certainty to act. They just needed hope. And hope was something Earth had plenty of. HFY wasn't just about winning battles. It was about never giving up on someone, even when they were far away, even when silence answered back. And especially, they meant everything. Asterisk Captain. Leon Reyes checked her screen again. Nothing. No message. No reply. The stars outside the space station still blinked quietly, as if laughing at her hope. It had been 7 days since she sent that message to Renovari. Every part of her had really hoped that he'd reply within hours. But the silence stayed. She didn't tell anyone how much it hurt. She just smiled at her team during meetings. She ran training drills. She made jokes during meals, but deep inside she was tired, not from the work, not from the weight of command, from missing someone who might have forgotten her. In the supply room, she stood still for a moment. A crate had been labeled Tia Favari. It wasn't meant for her, just random storage. But that name Avari was enough to stop her breath. She reached out and touched the crate. So many memories. Ren showing her how to weld plasma lines without burning her gloves. Ren laughing when they got stuck in a malfunctioning shuttle together. Ren staying quiet when she cried after they lost a soldier. Ren always nearby, always calm, like gravity, and now he was gone, not dead, just somewhere else. That night, she sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the cold metal floor. She didn't know what was worse, losing someone forever, or feeling like they had already let go. A knock came at her door. "Come in," she said softly. It was Doc Leanne, the team medic. "You missed dinner," she said gently. "I wasn't hungry." Doc sat next to her. She didn't ask questions. She just sat in silence. After a while, she said, "Back home on Earth. My mom used to wait by the mailbox every day for letters from my dad. He was stationed on Europa Station. No comes for months. But she waited." "Did he ever write back?" Leanne asked. "Not often. But one day a letter came. Just 5 words. Miss you badly." She kept that letter for the rest of her life. Leanne smiled faintly. "I don't know if I'll ever get one." "What?" "You don't need a reply to matter," Doc said. "Hope is part of who we are. We reach out. Even when the dark doesn't answer." Leanne nodded. Humans had always done that, from sending messages into deep space to writing love letters to soldiers on the front. Maybe that's what made them different. They didn't wait for perfect moments. Created them. The next day, Leanne worked in the hangar. She helped unload a small shipment from a cargo ship. As she carried a toolbox, she paused. Something small slid off a crate and clattered to the ground. She bent down and picked it up. Coin. Not just any coin, it was from Titan Front, where Ren had been deployed. On the back, it had 3 engraved letters. Ray. Renavera's initials. Her chest tightened. Her hand closed over the coin. Was it a sign? A message? Or just coincidence? She didn't know. But it didn't matter. In that moment, she realized something powerful. Even if Ren never replied, even if the silence lasted forever, she would still care, because love wasn't always returned. But it was always real. That night, she sent another message. "Hi, I'm not even sure if this is reaching you, but I saw a coin today from Titan. Your initials were on it. Funny, right? Maybe it's nothing, but it reminded me that even small things matter. I hope you're safe." Leanne, she didn't expect an answer. She didn't need one, because that was what humans did. They kept reaching. They kept hoping. They kept loving, even through the void. And somehow, that made them stronger than any storm. Captain Leanne Reyes woke up early. Her room was dark, lit only by the soft blue glow of the screen near her bed. She blinked slowly, her heart heavy with the same weight it carried every morning. No new message. Still no reply from Commander Ren. A VARI. It had been 2 weeks since she first wrote to him. It was quiet, long weeks filled with duty, silence, and hidden feelings. She tried to tell herself it was fine that people got busy, that maybe signals weren't getting through. But in her heart, the silence hurt. Still, she didn't stop writing. Every few days, she sent another small message. Sometimes just a few lines. Sometimes a story about the team. Sometimes a memory. She never asked why he didn't reply. She just shared she didn't know why. Maybe it made her feel closer to him. Maybe it made her feel less forgotten. Outside, the space station floated over the surface of a barren moon. The mission was simple. Monitor deep space movement. Scan for signs of the Jernak pirates and report in. But for Leanne, this mission wasn't just about guarding a moon. It was about waiting for something that might never come. She spent her free time walking through the empty halls. Sometimes she paused at the old Cum's room where they used to joke with Ren over long-distance calls. His voice had always been calm. Steady, he used to say, "Humans don't need perfect plans, just stubborn hearts." Leanne smiled sadly. That was what she had now. Stubborn heart. One afternoon, she joined Sergeant Kit and Doc Leanne in the rec room. They were playing a slow game of holo-chess. Kit looked up and said, still thinking about him. Leanne gave a soft smile. Can't really stop. Maybe that's the sign you're human, Doc Leanne said. We carry people with us. Oh, even when they're not here? I don't understand, Leanne whispered. Did I say something wrong? Did I hold on too long? No, Kit said, leaning forward. You cared. It's not weakness. That's who we are. Leanne stared out the window. Strange, isn't it? We've crossed stars, built cities on frozen planets, fought off alien invaders, and still, the hardest part is missing someone. Welcome to the human condition, Doc said gently. Later that evening, Leanne walked to the observation deck again. The stars were out, burning quietly like tiny beacons. She remembered her first day in space. She was just 19, full of energy and hope. And she remembered Ren, 3 years older, already calm like a captain. He had helped her fix her suit after her first training mission. He hadn't laughed when she panicked. He just handed her a wrench and said, "You're going to be fine. Just breathe." Those words had stuck with her. She closed her eyes now and whispered, "I'm still breathing, Ren." And then, just like that, she made a choice. She walked back to the console. Her fingers hovered over the keys. This time, she didn't just write a message. She recorded her voice. "Hey, Ren, I guess I just needed to hear myself say it out loud. I miss you every day. Not because I'm weak or lonely, but because you mattered. You still matter. I don't know if these messages are reaching you. Maybe you're busy. Maybe you've changed. Or maybe you're still you, just lost in the work, like always, but I'm still here. I'll keep sending these because that's what we do. We're human. We don't give up on people. Even when they go silent. Even when we hurt. So if you ever hear this, just know I'm still breathing and I remember everything." She ended the recording. She hesitated only a second and then pressed send. The message floated through space. A small human voice against the cold vacuum of the galaxy. Leanne sat back, her eyes closed. She didn't expect a reply. She didn't need one to know who she was. Because HFY didn't mean humans were the strongest. It meant they were the ones who kept going, kept hoping, kept loving. No matter how far the stars pulled people apart, Captain Leanne Reyes stood near. The station's outer ring, her gloved hand pressed to the cool window. The stars beyond her looked peaceful, but they weren't. Somewhere out there was the Titan front of battlefield, a firestorm of debris and danger. And somewhere in that chaos was Renovar, at least. She hoped so. It had been nearly 3 weeks. Since she first messaged him, she had written to him, recorded her voice, even shared stories. Every message was honest, filled with care, but nothing came back. The silence stayed, and that silence hurt. More each day, not because it meant he was gone, but because she didn't know. Her team noticed the change. Leanne still led with discipline, still gave orders clearly, but something in her voice was softer. Her eyes looked past people when they spoke. She smiled less, laughed rarely. Sergeant Kit walked beside her after morning drills. "You know," said gently, "it's okay to let go." "I'm not holding on to hope because I expect an answer," she said. "I'm holding on because I care that doesn't go away just because the stars are quiet." Kit nodded. "Just don't let it burn you out." "I won't," she said. But she already felt tired. In the quiet hours, Leanne returned to the communications terminal. Ow. She didn't send a message this time. She just opened the message log. A long list of outgoing notes. Text, voice, even a short video of the crew laughing around a fire in the dome garden. All unanswered. She stared at the screen for a long time. Then she pressed play on her last voice message, the one where she said, "I'm still breathing," hearing her own. Voice made her chest tighten. There was strength in her tone, but also something fragile, something she hadn't let anyone else hear. She closed the file, leaned back, and whispered, "Am I foolish?" But the room had no answer, only her own heart, steady and human, still hoping. The next day, a cargo ship arrived. It carried tools, food, and news from Earth. A few crew members gathered in the docking bay, unloading boxes and chatting with the supply pilots. One pilot handed Leanne a sealed packet. From the relay archive, he said, no return address. She took it slowly. The seal was old. The packet had clearly traveled across many relay points. It's possibly delayed for weeks. She opened it with care. Inside was a small device, a message stick. Her heart started pounding. She inserted the stick into the private console in her room. The screen flickered. The message opened. Message recorded 18 days ago. Location: Titan Front. Hey Leanne, I don't know if this will reach you. Communications here are a mess. Whole network's down. But I found a way to get this sent through. An old cargo relay. I hope it finds you. I've been thinking about you every day. I didn't forget you. I couldn't. Your voice in those messages. It reminded me of something real. Something solid. One said, we're human. We don't stop caring. You were right. I haven't stopped either. I'm still breathing, too. Renlian's hands trembled. She played the message again and again. Each word echoed inside her, warming all the cold places silence had left behind. He hadn't forgotten. He had tried, and he still cared. Later that night, she stood alone on the deck. The stars were still there, bright, distant, and cold. But now, they didn't feel so far away. Leanne closed her eyes and smiled. This is what made humans different. They didn't give up on each other, even when the messages didn't come. Even when the stars swallowed their words, even when they felt alone. They still reached, still waited, still believed, because for humans, love wasn't something fragile. It was something fierce, something worth sending into the dark again and again until one day, an echo returned. Captain Leanne Reyes sat in the comms room, holding the message stick from Ren like it was made of glass. She had played his message over and over again, his voice soft but steady, just like she remembered. He hadn't forgotten her. He hadn't let go. But still, it had been 18 days since he recorded it. So much could have changed. Was he still safe now? Was he still trying to reach her? She leaned forward, opened the console, and started to record a reply. Ren, I got your message. Thank you. Just hearing your voice, just knowing you're still there meant more than I can say. I wish I could hug you. Wish we could sit in the hangar again, drinking that terrible powdered coffee and laughing at Kit's stories. But I'll take this. I'll take your words. I'll hold on to them. Blink. She paused, looked at the blinking cursor. Stay strong. And if the silence comes back, I'll still be here, just like always. She saved the message. But before she could hit send, the power flickered, the station lights dimmed, and glowed again. A red warning flashed. Interference detected. Deep space relay offline. She stared at it. The stars outside never looked so quiet. The chief engineer, Maratan, confirmed it later. A small solar storm had knocked out the long-range comms network. Could take days or longer to bring it back online. Leanne nodded, but inside her heart sank. What if Ren tried to write again? What if she missed it? Worse, what if this was the last chance? Kit noticed her mood during training. He waited until the others left, then stepped beside her. You okay? He asked. No, she admitted. I thought I had moved past the worst of it. But hearing him again, it reminded me how much I miss him. And now the comms are down. Kit gave a soft shrug. Even if the message doesn't get through now, he knows you're trying, and maybe that's enough. Leanne looked up. Is it? It has to be, he said. That's what keeps us going. The trying. That's our real strength. That night, the silence of the station felt deeper than usual. No messages could go in or out. It was like the galaxy had closed its doors. Leanne sat alone in the dome garden, where earth plants grew under artificial lights. The green leaves swayed gently in the recycled air. Ren had helped plant the first seeds there months ago. He said, if life can grow in metal and silence, then so can we. She smiled at the memory. Then she took out her old tablet. She opened a blank file and began to type, not to send, just to keep. Dear Ren, it's strange, isn't it? How distance can feel so heavy. Not just space, but silence. I used to think being a soldier meant pushing pain away. But now I see real strength is when you care anyway, even when it hurts. That's what humans do. We hurt, we hope, we try again. Wherever you are tonight, I hope you're looking up at the same stars. I hope you feel it, that someone out here still believes in you. Still breathing, Leanne. She saved the file. She didn't need a reply. Writing it helped, and that was enough. For now, 3 days later, the CUM system blinked back to life. Leanne rushed to the console. No new messages, but that was okay. She uploaded her voice reply, added the letter, and sent it all. In the following days, she didn't wait by the screen. She didn't press play on old recordings every hour. Instead, she lived. She trained with the team. She helped with repairs. She even laughed again, because Ren's message had reminded her of something important. She wasn't alone in missing someone. She wasn't weak for caring. She was human. Humans don't stop loving just because time or silence stands in the way. They keep going. They keep hoping. They keep reaching out, again and again, till the universe listens. Asterisk Captain Leanne Reyes stared at the tiny flame dancing inside the dome garden's lantern. It was just a small emergency. Light lit for warmth and calm during power tests. But to her, it looked like something more, a symbol of how human hearts keep burning, even in cold space. It had been 5 days since she sent her last message to Ren. There was still no answer, and no guarantee he even received it, but Leanne didn't sit at the console waiting anymore. She had made peace with the silence. Mostly she walked through the garden rows, brushing her fingers gently over the green leaves. She stopped beside a tall Vina plant Ren had named Lucky, because it had survived a blizzard on its way to the station. He used to say, "If that vine can survive frost and fire, so can we." Now the vine was strong, just like her. But some days strength felt like pretending. Sergeant Kit walked in, holding 2 mugs. He handed one to her. "You looked like you needed something warm." "Thanks," she said with a quiet smile. They sat beside the vine in silence for a while. Then Kit said, "Do you ever think maybe hope hurts more than giving up?" Leanne nodded slowly. "Yeah, but giving up would hurt worse in the long run." He took a sip from his mug. "Still sending messages?" She shook her head. "Not today. I think I've said all I can. If he writes, I'll answer. If not." "Remember him?" Kit didn't say anything right away. Then he whispered, "You're stronger than you think." "No," she replied. "I'm just human, that's all." The next day, a strange signal hit their radar. It wasn't a message. Not exactly. It was more like a half-broken data stream scrambled, full of static. But repeating one short burst over and over, Leanne leaned over the console, boost the signal, try to clean it. The tech officer worked fast, hands flying over the keys. The sound came through the speakers, a soft, broken sound, like someone whispering through wind. Breathing, breathing still, breathing. Leanne's heart stopped. "Replay that," she said quickly. They played it again. The voice was faint, almost lost, but she recognized it. Ren. The message had no location tag, no full content. Just that broken signal, echoing the words she once said, still breathing. Her hands shook as she pressed record. "Ren, I got your signal. I don't know where you are, but I heard you. I'm still breathing too. We're still here." She sent it, and for the first time in weeks, her hope didn't hurt. It glowed. That evening, she gathered the team in the dome garden. They sat around the emergency lantern, warming their hands, laughing about old stories. Leanne looked at each of them. These people were her family now. And Ren, he was part of that too, no matter how far he had gone. "Do you think he'll make it back?" Doc Leanne asked gently. Leanne didn't answer right away. Then she said, "I don't know, but I believe he's trying." Kit leaned back. "And that's the most human thing, isn't it, to keep going? Even when the path is broken." She nodded. "We may not control the stars, but we decide where we send our light." The small flame flickered in the middle of their circle. Not big, not loud, but alive. Later, Leanne wrote in her private log, "Hope is not soft. It's not fragile. Hope is fire. It burns in the quiet. It lives in the dark. Keeps us moving. If Ren hears this one day, I want him to know he never had to be perfect. He just had to keep breathing, 'cause I'll always be listening. She saved the file, not to send, just to remember, because humans don't need perfect outcomes. They just need reasons to hold on, and that reason sometimes is just love. Captain Leon Reyes sat alone in the command center. The room was dim, lit only by the soft glow of the control panels. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly into space, cold and distant. Leanne's heart felt the same way, far away from someone she cared about. Commander Renovari was gone, moved to a far-off post in the Titan front. The messages had stopped. For a long time, she waited. She hoped. She sent words into the darkness, but there was no reply. Leon's hands rested on the console. She didn't know what to do next. How do you reconnect with someone when they seem so far away, more than just space between you? She thought back to the early days when they had served together. Ren's quiet strength, his calm voice, the way he made her feel safe, even when everything around them was chaos. Those memories were both a comfort and a pain. She missed him. It's not just the person, but the connection they shared. The laughter, the unspoken understanding, promised to be there no matter what. But now there was silence. Leanne looked at her own reflection in the dark glass. She whispered, "How do I reach you now? What do I say when there's only silence?" A small beep broke her thoughts, a notification. A new message had arrived. Her heart raced as she opened it, but it wasn't from Ren. It was from a young soldier on her team, writing about how he admired her strength, how her hope inspired everyone, how even without answers she never gave up. Leanne read the message slowly, feeling a warmth spread inside her chest. Maybe hope wasn't about waiting for others to come back. Maybe it was about standing strong for those still here. Later, she walked to the observation deck. Stars seemed brighter tonight. Leanne whispered to the endless sky, "I'm still here. I'm still hoping. I'm still waiting." She didn't know if Ren would ever reply. She didn't know if the distance would ever close. But she knew one thing for sure. Humans don't give up. They don't stop loving just because space is wide. They reach, they fight, they hope, because hope is stronger than distance. Captain Leanne Reyes stood on the observation deck once again. The vast black sky stretched endlessly above her, dotted with distant stars shining like tiny fires. She wrapped her coat tighter around her, but the cold was nothing compared to the cold in her heart, the ache left by the distance from Commander Renovari. For months, she had waited. She had hoped. She had sent messages into the void. Some were answered, many were not. But she never stopped. She whispered softly to the stars, "Ren, wherever you are, I'm still here." That night, as she sat alone in her quarters, a soft beep echoed from her console. Her heart jumped. Could it be? She opened the message of video file. Her breath caught. There he was. Ren's face, tired but smiling, speaking softly. "Leanne, if you see this, know that I never stopped thinking of you. The silence wasn't because I forgot. It was because I was fighting my own battles. Your messages, your hope, kept me going. I'm coming home. Hold on a little longer." Tears welled up in Leon's eyes. The distance was still there, still real, but so was the connection. The human spirit, she thought, was like these stars, distant yet shining through the darkness. The next days were filled with preparations. The station buzzed with excitement. As news spread Ren was on his way back, Leanne trained harder, prepared for his arrival. But more than anything, she prepared her heart. When the shuttle finally landed, she waited at the airlock. The doors hissed open, and there he was, worn, but alive. Their eyes met. No words were needed. They smiled, and in that moment, all the distance melted away. Later, as they looked out at the stars together, Ren said quietly, "You taught me something important out here." "What's that?" "That hope isn't just waiting. It's fighting. It's reaching through the dark, even when it's scary. It's being human." Leanne nodded. "That's what we do." They stood side by side, two humans against the vast universe, connected by a bond no distance could break. Because humans never give up. They never stop hoping. They never stop reaching for each. There are, no matter how far apart the stars may be,